The day of Arafah is the greatest day of Hajj. It is the day on which sins are forgiven, souls are released from the hellfire, and du'as are readily accepted. This day is also special because it was the day Allah bestowed upon our ummah its greatest gift. He perfected the religion of Islam and completed His favor upon us. Fast. When the Messenger of Allah ﷺ was asked about the fast of the day of Arafah, he said, "It wipes away the sins of the past year and upcoming year." If you have been unable to fast for the first 8 days of Dhul Hijjah, ensure not to miss out on the amazing reward of fasting on this special day. Recite the takbirat of tashriq after each fard salah. Keep repeating,
لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير.
Make lots of dua, particularly between Asr and Maghrib. The Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, the best dua is the dua of the day of Arafah. The secret of making dua is to display an utter need of Allah, expressing utmost humility, desperation and dependence. Go to Allah as a humble beggar. Lengthen your dua and have firm conviction that Allah will accept it. Persist and beg Allah in your dua. Make dua for yourself, your family, your teachers, and the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We see an astounding spectacle of dua in the farewell Hajj of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. After years of struggle in conveying the message of his Lord, the whole of the Arabian Peninsula comes under his control and finally accepts his message. Yet, gathered on the plains of Arafah at his highest point of victory, we do not witness parades or displays of pomp. Rather, we witness nothing but humility and turning to Allah in desperate need. Despite being over 60 years of age, undertaking a long journey from Medina to Mecca, and being responsible for huge crowds, none of it comes in the way of worshipping his beloved. He delivers a moving and powerful sermon and then leads his companions in prayer, combining Dhuhr and Asr. Everyone is looking at him. He moves towards the mountain of mercy, faces the Qibla, and thereafter occupies himself in earnest dua until Maghrib. He spends approximately 6 hours in continuous dua. He is so focused on making dua that even when the rein of his camel falls down, he grasps it with only one hand and leaves his other hand raised towards the sky. How strong was his connection with his Lord? One of the pious predecessors said, "I have been making dua on the day of Arafah for the last 50 years, and not a year passes by except that I see them answered as clearly as the light of the morning." Seek forgiveness and protection from hellfire. The Prophet ﷺ said, "There is no day in which Allah sets free more slaves from hellfire than the day of Arafah. Indeed, He draws near and He then boasts about them to the angels and says, 'What do these slaves of mine want?' On this day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala frees a huge number of His servants from the hellfire. This is Shaitan's worst day in the year. In just a few hours, years of Shaitan's efforts to mislead man come to naught. What enrages him even more is that not only does Allah free the pilgrims from the hellfire, but He frees the non-pilgrims too. Hakim ibn Hizam would stand in Arafah with 100 camels and 100 slaves. He would then free the slaves for the sake of Allah. The people would then start crying loudly saying, "O Allah, your slave freed his slaves, and we too are your slaves, so free us from the hellfire." As this day comes only once a year, switch off your phone, Take the day off from work if possible and spend as much time as you can in dua, dhikr and worship. Cut yourself off from the world and its distractions on this special day and let your soul ascend up to the heavens. Experience the sweetness of intimately conversing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, humbling yourself to Him and crying to Him. Turn to Him with sincerity and beg Him to forgive you.